morning, darling.
Morning, Charles.
It certainly is.
What certainly is what?
Oh, good morning. A tremendously good morning. There's not a cloud in the sky and everything looks newly washed.
Edith's keeping your breakfast hot. You better bring.
Anything interesting in the Times?
Don't be silly, Charles.
I intend to work all day.
Good.
It's extraordinary amount of daylight, isn't it?
How do you mean?
And the way it reduces anything to normal.
Does it?
Yes.
I'm
does.
sure I'm very glad to hear it.
You're very glacial this morning.
Are you surprised?
Frankly, yes. I expected more.
Well, really?
I've always looked upon you as a woman of perception and understanding.
Perhaps this is one of my off days.
Good morning, Edith.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Any bit?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
How's cook?
Oh, I don't know, sir. I haven't asked her.
You should. You should begin every day by asking everyone how they are. It oils the wheels.
Yes, sir.
Greet her for me, will you?
Yes, sir. That will be all for the moment, Edith. Oh, yes, sir. I wish you wouldn't be so facetious with the servants, Charles. It confuses them and undermines their morale.
Consider that point of view, Richard's aggressive, not downright futile.
I don't care what you consider it. I have to run the house, and you don't.
Why not I could?
You're at liberty to try.
Well, I take back what I said about it being a good morning. It's a horrid morning.
You'd better eat your breakfast while it's hot.
I did it.
Now look here, Charles. In your younger days, this display of roguish flippancy might have been a low. In middle-aged novelists, it's nauseating.
And would you like me to ride in your feet in a frenzy to the basement?
That would be equally nauseating, but certainly more appropriate.
I really don't see what I've done so often.
You behaved abominably last night. You wounded me and insulted me.
I was the victim of an aberration.
Nonsense, you were drunk.
Drunk?
Of course you were drunk.
So not your story, is it?
You refused to come to bed, and when I came down at 3 in the morning to see what had happened to you, you were in an alcoholic coma on the sofa with the fire out of your hair all a mess.
I was not in the least drunk, Ruth. Something happened to me last night. Something very peculiar happened to me.
Nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. I know it seems like nonsense now, and the clear remorse is light of day, but last night was far from being nonsense. I honestly had some sort of hallucination.
I'd really rather not discuss it any further.
But you must discuss it. It's very disturbing.
There, I agree with you. It showed you up in a most unpleasant night. I find that extremely disturbing.
I swear to you that during the seance, I was convinced that I heard Elvira's voice.
Nobody else did.
I can't help but I did.
You couldn't have.
And later on, I was equally convinced that I saw Elvira, that she was here in this room. I saw her distinctly, and I spoke with her. And after we got up to bed, we had quite a cozy little chat.
And you seriously expect me to believe that you weren't drunk?
I wasn't in the least drunk, Ruth. If I'd been all that drunk, I should have a dreadful hangover by now, shouldn't I?
I'm not at all sure that you haven't.
Well, I haven't got a trace of a headache. And my dog's not here. Look at it.
I've not the least desire to look at your tongue, Charles. Kindly put it in again.
I know it is. You're frightened?
Frightened? Rubbish! What is there to be frightened of?
Elvira, I wouldn't have minded all that much if you had, even if I had been drunk. It's only because of all that to do with Elvira.
I seem to remember telling you last night that your views of female psychology were rather didactic. I was right. I should have added that they were puerile.
That's when it all began.
When what all began?
You're talking too much about Elvira. It's dangerous to have somebody very strongly on your mind when you start to dabble in the occult.
She certainly wasn't strongly in my mind.
Well, she wasn't mine.
Oh, she was she?
Well, you were trying to make me say that she was more physically attractive than you, so that you could lord it over me.
I did not. I don't give a hoot how physically attractive she was.
And yes, you did. How big is the value of jealousy?
Oh, this is too much.
Women. What I think of women.
Your view of women is academic, to say the least of it. Just because you've always been dominated by them does not necessarily follow that you know anything about them.
I have never been dominated by anyone.
You have been by
walking away.
I'm not interested. Then there was Elvira. She ruled you with a broad of iron.
Elvira never ruled anybody. She was much too elusive, and that was her greatest charm.
And then there was Maud Charterine.
My affair with Maud Charterine lasted exactly 7.5 weeks, and she cried all the time.
The tyranny of tears. Then there was...
If you wish to make an inventory of my sex life, dear, I think it's only fair to tell you that you missed out on 7 episodes. I'll go up and consult my diary and make a complete list after lunch.
It is no use trying to impress me with your routine and exploits.
The only woman in my whole life who's ever attempted to dominate me is you, and you've been at it for years.
But that is completely untrue.
No, it isn't. You boss me, you bully me, and you order me about, and you don't even allow me to have an hallucination if I want to.
Charles, a woman will ruin your life if you're allowed to get a hold of you, you know.
Once, and for all, Ruth. What happened last night had nothing whatsoever to do with alcohol. You very adroitly rationally say all about your own life, but your deductions are based on complete fallacy. I am willing to grant you that it was an aberration, some sort of odd psychic delusion brought on by suggestion or hypnosis. I was stone cold sober from first to last and extremely upset until the morning.
You are upset indeed. What about me?
You made me stolid, obtuse lack of comprehension that greatly shocked me.
I consider that I was remarkably patient. I should have better next time.
Instead of putting on a gentle, comradely hand to guide me, you shouted staccato orders at me like a sergeant major.
You forget that you gratuitously insulted me.
I did no such thing.
You called me a gutter-snipe. You told me to shut up. And when I quietly suggested that we go to bed, you added with the most disgusting leer that it was a thoroughly immoral suggestion.
I was talking to Elvira.
If you were to only conjure up a frightened picture of your first marriage.
My first marriage was perfectly charming. I think the worst possible case for you to sneer at me.
I'm not so nearly interested in your first marriage as you think I am. It is your second marriage that is absorbing me at the moment. It seems to be on the rocks.
But only because you persist in taking up this ridiculous attitude.
My attitude is that of any normal woman whose husband gets drunk and hurls abuse at her.
I was not drunk.
Now be quiet, though, you in the kitchen!
I don't care. They give me the folks in town hall. I was not drunk.
Control yourself, Charles!
Well, how can I control myself in the face of your bloody stubbornness? It's giving me claustrophobia.
You better ring up Dr. Bradman. Can I clear, please? Yes, Edith. Cook wants to know about lunchtime. Will you be to lunch, Charles?
Oh, please, don't worry about me. I shall be perfectly happy with a bottle of gin in my bed.
Oh, don't be silly, Charles. Elford, we will both be in. We get them. I'm going into Hyde this morning. Is there anything you want?
Yes, a great deal, but I seriously doubt if you get it in Hyde.
Tell Cook to put Alka-Seltzer down on the list. Will you read it? We get them. It's cloudy, Deborah.
You have a genius for understatement.
Don't worry